Happy day, loves. Happy day. So, I just had the most incredible meditation experience, and I just have to share it with you guys. If I'm talking a little funny, it's because I hurt my jaw yesterday, so it hurts a little bit to talk. But, oh man. But I've got to tell you guys about this meditation. So, I've been waking up early and going out on my deck and meditating for about an hour every morning. And usually what I do is I go and I, do some breathing, counted deep breath work, and some breath holding until I can bring my awareness inside my body. And then I usually I see my tailbone grow into a taproot, a really thick taproot that goes deep down into the earth and connects with the core of the earth. And then I bring light up through my body and send it out to source energy, and then I bring down light from source energy through my body, and I create this cycle of light coming in and going down, which then sends all of my chakras spinning right and open and bright. And then I usually say good morning to my body and thank my body and all of the organisms that live within my body and all of that. And I do some more breath work. My favorite is the breath of fire. So, and I've had, nice meditations, but today was completely different. So today I went out and I did, my deep breaths in and out, and, I hold at the top and at the bottom of each breath. And then I had to write it down because it was like incredible. So I was trying to get into that internal meditation, but I kept being told to take off my sweater. It's not a sweater, but it's a jacket. And I was like kind of arguing because I didn't want to get bit by bugs. And so I was like, no, I'm going to keep it on. And it was just like, take off the sweater, take off the sweater. And I was like, no, they were like, it's going to get hot. And I was like, I'm okay with it getting hot. I'd like to practice being okay with being hot. And they were like, take off the shirt, take off the long sleeve shirt, take it off. And I couldn't go into my meditation until finally I was like, okay, fine. So I took it off and then I dropped into meditation. And as I was like dropping into it, I felt on my right arm this warmth. I didn't feel it on the left side. The left side was just like regular fresh air flowing around. But on my right arm, it felt so warm, as if like someone was touching my arm. And it was so warm that I kept my eyes closed, but I was reaching around me to see if like maybe my cat had gotten close to me. Like what? It felt like something was there. And nothing was there. And so I had my eyes closed the whole time. And I was just like, okay. And I was reassured that I was safe and it was okay. And I was told that I have an angel with me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I kept hearing the word Kamet or Kemet or Kahemet. It was something like that. I haven't researched what that is yet, but I'm going to. And so then I begin to do my rooting, and I see my taproot begin to grow from my base of my spine into the earth. But then suddenly what happened was instead of just my roots growing into the earth, my entire body sunk into the earth. And I was like, whoa, and it was so surprising that I almost opened my eyes, but I was like, no, I'm gonna stay in this, and so I just saw my whole body in lotus position. I was in lotus, just like kind of sink into the earth, and I saw all the dirt and all the shells and different rocks and different sediments, and just like coming up around me, and it got darker and darker, and I was in this like deep, rich black earth that was so moist and soft, and for some reason really warm, and I was in this just like little, like I was just this little seed in the earth, and it felt like a womb space. It was just so comforting and beautiful. Like, it was just, I have never felt anything quite like it. It kind of brings tears to my eyes. It was so beautiful, and I felt so safe and protected, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna stay here forever. Like, I'm never coming out of meditation again. And then suddenly I started to see like my body sprout like a little plant, just like sprouting these beautiful little tendrils of like leaves coming up, and I started to grow, and the message that I heard was that we are seeds. We are seeds of consciousness, right? And I was told that, I've been doing all of this studying. I'm in ministry school for New Thought Ministry, and I just study religion for the fun of it. I don't know, it's just something that I really love to do. I study ascension, and I study all the different religions, and I study the philosophies that they each have, and then where they all went. You can definitely see the core of every religion where there's the concept of God, and then you can clearly see the manipulation of it around, because religion is the original form of government. It's what was used to get us to do what whoever was in charge wanted us to do. And so I study where religion and turns to government, and spirituality turns to religion. And so I guess I'm like always on this quest to know God, and what God is, and where God is, and how to get back to God, and all of this stuff. And what I heard was, learning about religions and trying to find God through religions outside of ourselves, which are really other people's accounts of finding God, right? Or them using other people's accounts of finding God as a way to control the masses. And so I was told that the only way to know God is to develop a relationship with God, source energy. When I say God, I don't mean the idea of a Christian God. When I say God, I mean the source energy that is above all names. And that's the other thing that I was told, was that the moment we try to put a name forget personification. The moment we even utter a name for this energy is the moment we misunderstand what it is. And that it's a deeply personal relationship. And the only way that we can come to know this, for lack of better words, source energy or God, is through developing a relationship with it. And the way that we do that is through meditation and going inward. That this is where this is found, is all found inward. And so it's not to say that calling it God or source is disrespectful, but it detracts from what it is, because what it is unnameable and unfathomable and indescribable. And the moment that we try to do it is really just clearly the moment that we misunderstand what it is. So I was hearing these things, and I was being told to stop, not necessarily stop learning about things, because it fills me with joy to study and learn. I'm a philosopher, and I like to study. I like to learn all these things. And I love studying people and how people respond, and sociology and psychology. It's just so a fascination for me. But to understand that that is not how I'm going to come to know this energy, this entity. Not even an entity. It's not even an entity. If we call it an entity, we're also misunderstanding what it is. And the only way that I'm going to know this, have this experience with this whatever, is through meditation, going inward. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm down for that. That's why I'm here, right? And then I was told, I gotta look at my notes. I was told, so then it brought me back to the experience I was having where I was the seed, right? And it was explaining, and when I say explaining, it wasn't like I heard a voice talking to me. It was like an understanding that was coming from within me. There was no voice. It was just suddenly I understood what this meant. And so, trying to use words to express it, we are like seeds from which life force or source energy grows through and expands. And when we try to control or judge our experience, we stunt or inhibit this growth and expansion. All that is truly required for us is to develop our relationship with this unknowable, unfathomable, unnameable presence through meditation, and to listen and to allow the expansion to happen through us without judgment and with complete love. Just as the seed just grows, it just is, it doesn't sit there and go, am I growing right? Do I look right while I'm growing? What does everyone else think about how I'm growing? Oh, am I, what if I'm not doing it the way everyone else is doing it? Like, the seed doesn't do any of that. It just is. It's in this communion with the earth, as we are in a communion with the earth and Mama Gaia, and in this union, this expansion can occur, right? And then we stunt our growth by getting in our heads about what we're doing. And then when we do that, that's when we feel separation. So the moment the judgment comes in of, I'm not doing this right, that's when separation occurs, right? And And it's really easy to get that back through meditation. It really is. It's really easy to get that back. That oneness, that wholeness. And so then I was told, I heard my own thought think, this is a death planet. Why is this a death planet? And then what I understood was that this is not a death planet, because I was kind of looking at things like, oh, we have to take life in order to be here, because even if we don't eat animals, plants are sentient, live beings, and we take their life to have life. And I was kind of really upset about it. It's been hard for me to be here because of that perspective that I was having. And what I now understand through this meditation is that it's not, perspective is everything. It's not a death planet. It's a rebirth planet. It's a rebirth, rebirth, rebirth. And it just so happens that dying is a part of this rebirth process. But there is no end. So even if I take a plant's life or an animal's life, that doesn't mean that that energy ends. It just means it's been released from its physical form so that it can come back again in this rebirth process. And it's all about expanding and evolving every time we have a rebirth. And this happens on many levels, right? This happens on a physical level. This happens on a cellular level. This happens on an emotional and mental and spiritual level. Like, it's happening constantly in our relationships. It's happening just constantly. Constantly is just rebirth, 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 right? And Mama Gaia is this womb space from which this rebirth happens. And I was just so astonished, because I've read things like this before, but again, it's other people's accounts of having relationship with this source or this presence. And this time I got to have my very own experience with it. And I understand now on a much deeper level. And so I saw myself grow into this tall tree. Like, I went from being in the earth, and then I grew real tall, real tall, real tall, so tall. And then I was this beautiful, strong pine tree, just so beautiful. And then I dropped seed. I dropped pine cone, and I dropped seed, which was my rebirth. And then eventually I started to rot and decay, and I went back into the earth to be rebirthed again. But there was no ending of my energy. Just because the form ended, my energy never ended. It was just each time a deeper understanding and a deeper relationship with this experience. And wow, it was really amazing. And then suddenly I felt this intense light that was almost overpowering, to the point where I wanted to, it startled me. I almost broke out of my meditation. And I heard that I was safe and it was okay. And so I stayed in it, but it was really powerful. It was a little hard to stay in the meditation, because this light just, I guess from this space, just like filled my body, and it was like warm, and it was so bright. It was so bright, indescribably bright. And like brighter than any bright I've ever seen. And it just filled my body. And I heard, "You're healed, you're being healed. Like, it's okay." And I was just like, it was like, just be with it. Just be with this process. And so I sat with it, and I was just like, wow, wow. And then eventually the light, you know, kind of like didn't dissipate, like it's still there, but, you know, it, I guess more I integrated this light is what it feels like. And then I did my breath of fire breathing, and I always love that. It's mind expanding. And then I came out of my meditation, and when I look around at the world around me now, for some reason it looks a little different than it did before. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful experience, deeply intimate. And I just really wanted to encourage y'all to meditate. It's okay if it's hard in the beginning. You know, if you want help with meditation, that's what I'm studying, is meditation dynamics. So I'm more than happy to help you understand and develop a meditation practice. Just reach out to me. But this is how we're gonna know this presence, right? We've got to stop. Sorry for the sound, my air just kicked on, but we've got to, I mean, we don't have to stop. We don't have to stop. If we like the experience of looking for things outside of ourselves to fulfill this concept of God, if you're really feeling fulfilled by that, then have at it. When you're ready, though, that presence is in here, and you can tap into that wholeness and deeply intuitive guidance that will lead you towards your highest and best good. And I'm really excited for you guys to have that experience. So if you start meditating, or if you have been meditating and you've had these kinds of experiences, I would love to hear about your experience. It would fill me with so much joy to hear about your experience. And yeah, I hope that's something that I shared today, like, helped in some way. I know it helped me so much, especially this concept of rebirth. Like, we've really got to take this idea of death out of it, because, like, death, it's such a, we've put this negative, scary ending, like there's this ending, but again, just as when we name this presence, or call it a God or a source even, we do it a disservice. Maybe not do it a disservice, because you can't, but we do ourselves a disservice by misunderstanding it. So we do with rebirth and our expansion, when we say death is an ending. Death is a rebirth. It is an ever present, it's a circle. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I love you, and I hope you're having an amazing day. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for your presence and your energy and your time. And I just send you so much love and so much light, and I hope that You know you're loved and you are important, and your experience truly matters to the expansion of the universe. No matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, it's okay. It's all a part of rebirth. I love you. Happy day.